To start with, you're going to need some filter paper. Now this stuff here is the stuff we use in school, but you can use coffee filters that you can get from the supermarket, or even kitchen roll. Toilet roll doesn't work, it's too thin, but kitchen roll will work fine. And you also need some different felt tip pens. Now in this experiment I'm using 4 different black felt tip pens, but if you don't have different types of black pens, you could use different colours. I've labelled each of the pens, number 1, 2, 3 and 4. And I've also got 4 cups of water, and I've labelled them 1, 2, 3 and 4. So what you want to do is you pick up each of your pens and you're going to draw a large circle in the middle of each of your circles of filter paper. Something about the size of a 50 pence, maybe a wee bit bigger. And you need to colour it all in. Make sure there's no gaps. I'm colouring this all in the middle of the filter paper. Try and get it as close to the middle as you can, otherwise you might find it a wee bit tricky going on to the next part. Once you've done that, you need a pipe cleaner. If you don't have a pipe cleaner, a bit of kitchen roll rolled really tightly into a tube should work the same way. You need something that water can travel up and soak into this paper with. Then you put your pipe cleaner through the middle of your circle so that you have a little bit sticking out like that. Okay, so now I've got my 4 filter papers with the black circles drawn in them, and each one has got a pipe cleaner. There's a tiny bit of pipe cleaner at the bit that I drew the circle in, and a long bit at the back. I'm then going to put these in a jar of water each. Now the water needs to be filled almost to the top, as high up as you can get it without it touching the paper. So I'm going to put them in, and we're going to leave it, and we're going to wait and see what happens. Now try to not let the paper touch the water, and try not to let the paper touch any of the other pieces of paper. And now, boys and girls, we just need to wait. So we'll come back to this in a little minute. So as you can see, I've left this for about 5 minutes, and the ink is starting to spread, and you're starting to get these big circles. The circles are expanding. Now I'm going to leave it until all the black has disappeared, so you need to leave it a little while. Just keep a little eye, because it will keep running and eventually it will run off the edge of your paper, so make sure you don't leave it too long, otherwise you'll lose your experiment. It will run onto your desk. So what's happening here? What's the science? Different black inks are made of other colours. Black isn't a colour, black's a mixture of colours. And each pen, each manufacturer of a pen, has to register their particular mix for their black. So every company will have a slightly different mix for their black ink. And when you use the chromatography, you can tell what their mix is, and you can see the differences in them. This works because the liquid moves, it's almost like a race, and different colours are faster than others, and different colours are heavier than others. So for example, this one's really good to show you. As you can see, the purple gave up first, and you can see the ring where it is. Then the pinks, then the yellows and the oranges, and then the blues. So how do we use chromatography in real life? Well, chromatography is used in a lot of different ways. It's used by some drinks companies, like Brew, to make sure that their drinks contain the same amount of sugar and the same amount of additives in every batch they make. So they'll test a wee batch and make sure the chromatography fits the previous batch. It's also used in sport. A lot of athletes have to provide drug tests before the Olympics and things to make sure that they're not using steroids or other things that can enhance their performance. And again, the chromatography is used to help the scientists work out whether there's steroids or other performance enhancing drugs in their system. It's also used by food standards agencies. A wee while ago there was a bit of a scandal where some meat in foods was coming from a different animal than the animal they were claiming it was, and they discovered that they could use chromatography to work out where the meat that they were claiming was in the food was actually the meat that was in the food. So, lastly, you can use chromatography for a bit of a game, and maybe you could entertain yourself this week and entertain your family this week by having a bit of a mystery. Get someone to write a note using a black pen. Put little drops of water on the ink and watch the ink spread, watch the chromatography in that ink. Then get all the black pens in your house and do this experiment to test them and see if you can work out which circle matches the ink that was used to write the note, and then maybe you could find the culprit. I hope that you've enjoyed this and I hope that you give it a go. If you do, please let me or your teachers know that you have. We would love to see it. And again, just stay safe, stay happy, and I can't wait to see you all when we get back to school. See you later.